Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Starting the Day the Right Way 5-minute devotion for, where are we? October 30th. It is Friday, almost at the end of October. All right, I am excited about this morning's verses. So let's get right into it. It comes from the book of John, chapter 8, verses 1 through 11, and I'm going to be reading it from the Message. All right, here we go. Jesus went across to Mount Olives, but he was soon back in the temple again. Swarms of people came to him. He sat down and taught them. The religion scholars and Pharisees led in a woman, who had been caught in the act of adultery. They stood her in plain sight for everyone and said, "Teacher, this woman was caught red-handed in the act of adultery. Moses in the law gives orders to stone such persons. What do you say?" They were trying to trap him into saying something incriminating so they could bring charges against him. Jesus bent down, wrote with his finger in the dirt. They kept at him, badgering him. He straightened up and said, "The sinless one among you, go first. Throw the stone." Bending down again, he wrote some more in the dirt. Hearing that, they walked away, one after another, beginning with the oldest. The woman was left alone. Jesus stood up and spoke to her. "Woman, where are they? Does no one condemn you?" "No, Master." "Neither do I," said Jesus. "Go on your way. From now on, don't sin." This is, to me, an incredible portion of scripture. And God reminded me back, way back when I was younger. I think it was right before my confirmation. That's way back when. And I had to get some hours in. And I remember putting in some hours at my church. And there was some type of test. I don't remember the exact details, but the sisters were having me grade some tests, and I was whipping right through them. And I think I got to somehow, some way, I was grading my own test. And then I double checked it and triple checked it and quadruple checked it, and I found some errors. It was somebody else. Somebody else had graded it, and I was looking at my paper, and I found some mistakes that they made. And I brought it to the sister's attention, and she said, "All right, we'll correct this, but I have one question. All those papers that you graded in about a half hour, whatever the time frame was, did you grade them with the same lens that you graded your own paper, that you were looking at your own paper?" And that was a lesson that I never forgot. I was like, whoa, because obviously I was looking at my paper trying to see all the errors that somebody else had picked up on or had missed, right? And meanwhile, I was just trying to get done and get my hours in and appear as if I was doing this wonderful job. And I was being careless with everybody else's stuff except my own. And so this scripture, I feel, really applies to today. In such a way. We are approaching the last weekend before the 2020 elections here in the United States, and we are in obviously a very politically charged time, where if you say the wrong thing, in the middle of cancel culture or whatnot, you can become an instant story and have instant criticism from every direction. And I just find this portion of scripture so interesting, and various commentaries on this portion of scripture say that Jesus was either writing the Pharisees' names or the different people's names who, were in that group, and the types of sin they had committed. Nobody knows for sure what Jesus was writing, but obviously the Pharisees were always trying to catch him, right? And he said, "Sure, go ahead, but let the one without sin throw the first stone." And if you have done any certain type of research on what it's actually like to die by stoning, it is a terrible way to die. But this is how they dealt with this during Jesus's time on this earth. So, again, he was pointing out to them, sure, no problem. I agree with Moses' law, but just let it be the first one who has no sin. And obviously, Jesus is the only one who ever walked this earth with no sin. We clearly are sinners, saved by God's grace, saved by Jesus's grace. Okay. And I think we need to watch how we view other people. Are we judging ourselves by the same way we're judging other people? Are we judging our words by other people's words? And it has nothing to do with Democrat, Republic, Independent. It doesn't matter what candidate you're voting for, okay? The way that you are judging the candidate you're not voting for, are you judging your own life by that? Okay, I think that's a very important question that we all have to deal with. Just like when I was younger, and that sister pointed out to me, why wasn't I grading everybody else's paper the way I was grading my paper, right? So are we using different levels of judgment? Okay, if you are, then that's something I believe that you need to reflect upon, right? Because the same way that we are judging other people, we should use that same standard to judge our actions, our words, our thoughts, right? And if we're not, then there's something out of balance to me. Anyway, dig into this scripture, this portion of scripture. There's a lot in here. And every time I read this, I crack up because, Jesus is calm. He's cool. He's collective. They're badgering him. They're surrounding him. And think about it. He's down on the ground. So he's down on one knee, writing in the sand while everyone's yelling and screaming, what do you want to do with this woman? So it's a really interesting portion. And just like always, Jesus handled it flawlessly with no problem. All right, we ran a little over today. Have a great day. Have an awesome weekend, and we'll be back. God bless.